Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Julia, a Dallas-based flight attendant. I really wanted to film this Q&A so that my subscribers could get to know me better and so that I could answer any questions that you guys may have had about my job as a flight attendant and working in the aviation industry. And thank you everyone so much for asking so many great questions. I am really excited to film this video and really hope that you guys like it. In no particular order, I have all the questions on my phone, so let's get started. How old are you? I am 24 years old. What did you do before and why did you decide to become a flight attendant? So growing up, I was a gymnast. I was a gymnast for 17 years. I did it throughout my entire childhood and my college career. I majored in journalism from the University of Denver in Colorado. And after I graduated, I actually worked as a copywriter intern. However, I hated sitting at a desk all day and I was only doing it part-time. So I knew that if I already didn't like having a desk job and I was only working 20-25 hours a week, there was no way that I would like sitting at a desk for 40+ hours a week. I knew I needed a career where I would be up on my feet, and I was really looking for a job where I could travel. I had this itch to see the world. So before becoming a mainline flight attendant, I worked for a regional airline and was based in Seattle, Washington. Next question is, why does it take so long to become a flight attendant? There's a few different reasons why it takes so long to become a flight attendant. The application process is really lengthy. You often have to send in your initial resume and do the initial online application. There's an online assessment that you have to fill out as well. And then once you pass the online assessment, there's a video interview. And then once you pass the video interview, you're sent to an in-person interview. From the time that I initially applied for my airline to when I went to training and finished, it was about 8 or 9 months. And that's because the airlines are really selective and they receive so many applications. They receive hundreds of thousands of applications and they have to go through each and every one of them. And then on top of that, training is anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. So that is typically why it can take a while to become a flight attendant. One of my favorite questions is, how and when did you and Eric meet? So for those of you that don't know, Eric is my boyfriend. We've been dating for 3.5 years. Eric was a soccer player and I was a gymnast at our university. So long story short, we met through the athletic department at our college. We'd always kind of seen each other throughout our college years. We even had a class together sophomore year, but for whatever reason, we didn't talk to each other, even though we both thought each other were really cute. There was one time where I was walking home to my apartment and he was walking home to his house along the same street, and we started talking, funny enough, about our knee injuries. Finally, our junior year, we were brought together in the athletic department in the area where all of the locker rooms are, and we were passing each other, and Eric was really excited because he had just been cleared to go back to soccer from his ACL injury, and he gave me a big hug and was super excited, and I congratulated him on being cleared to go back to playing, and he just asked me for my number just out of the blue, and it was so cute. And that is basically how we met and how everything started. Was Denver or Dallas home, and how are flight attendants assigned cities to be based in? So I would consider Denver and Dallas my home. Denver I've lived in for the past 5-6 years because of school, and Eric was also living there for grad school. So I am based in Dallas for work, but I would fly back and forth a lot so we would get to see each other. When I initially came out of training with my mainline, I was based in Miami, and I loved being based there. I didn't have any issues with it other than it was a really far commute from Denver and there were only 2 flights a day, so that was definitely pretty difficult. When you are in flight attendant training, where you are based is depending on operational necessity. If they need flight attendants in New York, then you will get sent to New York. If they need flight attendants in Chicago, then you will get sent to Chicago. And you can always put in your preferences during training as to which base that you would like, and if it allows and if your seniority within your class allows, then you will get that specific base. So for me, Miami was my #1 choice given the options that we had, and so I got Miami. Even during training, I put in my transfer for Dallas because I knew it would be a lot closer to Denver and it would be an easier commute, and the cost of living is cheaper here, so I knew that it would be a better place to start out. However, once you get to your initial base from training and you transfer, the company can't say, oh, we actually need you in New York. Once you're in a base, it is completely up to you whether you want to stay or if you want to leave. The company cannot force you to switch bases. Okay, another question about Eric and I. What is the status of You and your partner, are you engaged, married, boyfriend, girlfriend? You make a nice couple regardless. Thank you. Eric and I are boyfriend and girlfriend, but we definitely have like engagement and marriage plans for the future. We are just really enjoying like our time together right now, and we actually just moved in together, so we're super excited about that. Your favorite trip? So, wow, I have a few different favorite trips. Probably my favorite work trip would definitely be Honolulu. I just love Hawaii. I think it's beautiful, and how can you not love being so close to the ocean and the beach and all of like the tropical lush areas. My favorite personal trip was actually my cruise that I recently took with Eric. It was my first time in the Bahamas. It was beautiful. It was my first time on a cruise, and it was just a really, really great trip, especially since he had been gone for the whole summer. So it was just really, really nice to be together again and for it to just be the two of us. How difficult was the flight attendant training? So training can be difficult. It can be challenging in the sense that it is a ton of information that is just constantly being thrown at you. For me, as long as you studied and you paid attention in class and really just did your best to retain the information, you would be okay. The instructors did a really good job of helping you and making sure that you were retaining and understanding the information, and they really just wanted the best for you. Were you originally based in Dallas-Fort Worth? Is it a junior or senior base? So originally I was based in Miami out of training, and then I transferred to Dallas, which a lot of people were shocked that I was able to get a transfer so soon, considering I am so junior, which means I am very new to my company. Dallas is a very senior base. We have flight attendants here in Dallas who have been flying for 40 plus years. So yes, Dallas is a very senior base, but I will admit I have still gotten some amazing trips out of Dallas. Can you earn points for the hotels you stay at on your flight attendant trips? I personally don't know. I have heard so many different things. I have heard some flight attendants say that yes, you can, and I've heard other flight attendants say that no, you cannot. I personally have not tried. So if you are a flight attendant and you are watching this video and you have personally been able to earn points on your trips, let me know, because obviously if you can, I want to jump right on that. Next question I have is, how many hours a month are you required to work? Are you guaranteed a certain amount of hours per month, and what about days off? I don't know what it's like with every airline, but with my airline, you are required to work 40 hours a month. The only months that you are guaranteed a certain amount of hours per month are your reserve months, and you are guaranteed 75 hours of pay for that month, even if the company does not fly you that much. So for example, I'm on reserve this month, and so far I've only flown, I think 45 or 50 hours, but no matter what, I will be guaranteed the pay of 75 hours. However, on your line months, which is essentially where you get to make your own schedule and you are not on call, you can fly as much. You can fly like 120 plus hours, or you can only fly 40 hours. It's really up to you. Per the FAA though, there are certain legalities that you have to meet. So there are a certain amount of days off that you have to have. Like, you can't work 7 days in a row without a 24-hour rest in between trips. I believe on your reserve months, you are required to have 11 or 12 days off for that month. Where is the safest place to sit on a plane? That's an interesting question, because personally I think it's safe to sit anywhere on the plane. Like, I really trust the pilots and the flight attendants that if there ever was an emergency, I trust the training that we've all been through and that we would all be okay. I would say though that probably the safest spot would be an emergency exit row, just because you will obviously be the first person to get off the plane if there is some sort of evacuation. But one thing I've noticed is turbulence is way worse in the back of the plane as opposed to the front of the plane. So if you are a person who kind of has issues with turbulence, you might want to consider that when you're purchasing your tickets. Are upgrades worth the money for a long haul flight? In my opinion, yes. I mean, especially if it's an upgrade where you can lay flat and you can actually sleep, then I think it is totally worth the money. However, it just depends on the budget you're working with when you're traveling. Do you like airline food? Sometimes I like it and other times I don't. I think it really just depends on how hungry I am and if I don't have my own food with me. A lot of our first class meals are really good though, so I will admit that if there's an extra first class meal, I will usually eat it. Have you kept track of how many miles you've flown? Actually, yes, I have. So I use an app on my phone called App in the Air, and I have put in every single flight that I have worked this year or I have been on for personal travel. And this is the first time that I've really tracked my flights. So this is from January. Those are my stats so far for this year. So far in 2019, I have flown 239,208 miles, and that totals to be about 661 hours. Next question, can you tell us the name of the hotels you stay at? No, I cannot. For security reasons, I am not allowed to stay online or on social media where we as crew stay at for our layovers. Is it hard to plan a vacation since you don't always know what your schedule will be like? Yes. I was so nervous planning my vacation with Eric in August because I wasn't 100% sure if I was gonna get all of the days off that I needed. So for me, I always make sure that if I'm like planning a trip or a vacation that it's on my line month, so that way I can drop trips, I can trade them if I need to, because when you're on reserve, it's kind of like you get the days off that you get and you just gotta work with it. What is your opinion on commuting? Do you suggest relocating? I highly suggest relocating if you are able to. I commuted to Seattle, I commuted to Florida, and I have commuted to Dallas from Denver. I've stayed in crash pads in Seattle and Florida, and now I finally have my own place in Dallas. However, commuting is super stressful sometimes because flights are full, you don't know if you're always gonna get on, if you're gonna make it to work in time. It's an added stress to the job, and it is so much easier to just be able to drive to work instead of having to fly to work when your job already is to fly. It's exhausting and it's really hard on your body, but I do know flight attendants who have been commuting for, 20 years and they make it work and they don't have issues with it. Any tips on traveling with babies? I would say when you are traveling with babies, just do your best as a parent to make them the most comfortable they could possibly be. So whether that means like bringing their own toys, their own blankets, stuff that will make them feel like they're at home. If you're traveling with toddlers, make sure that you have entertainment for them. If they like games, make sure you have their games, or if they like a certain movie, make sure you have that, because it's really easy for children to get bored on planes because there's nothing for them to do. And if you really need help with your children on a flight, don't be afraid to ask the flight attendants. We are always here to help. Next question is, how did I grow my channel? I still feel like my channel is really small. Luna, hi baby. Luna wants to be in the Q&A too. Say hi. I feel like my channel is still pretty small. Hi. But I am really thankful for all the subscribers that I have so far, and I'm really excited to watch my channel continue to grow. But some tips that I have for growing your channel are to just stay consistent, so make sure that you are uploading at least once a week. I also would definitely say that some tips would be like interacting with your subscribers, so like building that, like, I guess subscriber, like YouTuber relationship, so that way people can feel really included in your channel. Like, one of the things that I really strive for with my channel is making sure that it is really inclusive and that everyone feels like they have a voice. My channel is a place that they can come to smile, to laugh, like to have some positive energy. If I have a job offer from 2 airlines, how do I know which one to choose? I would just really research the companies, really research the company culture, really research their values, research the pay, research the bases, so that way you can like really make an educated decision about which airline is best for you. When I walked into my interview for my current airline, I knew it right away. I knew this was home. I knew this was the company that I wanted to work for. And I just felt really, really good. I had like this great feeling in my heart, and I knew this was my future career. And I just really hope that if this is the job for you, that you will have that feeling as well. Do they pay for hotels on layovers? Yes, the airlines pay. I do not pay for my hotels on work layovers. Thank goodness, there's no way I could afford that. Other than your family, do you miss anything about Vegas? So for those of you that don't know, I grew up in Las Vegas, Nevada. I obviously miss my family a ton. Some things that I miss about Las Vegas are the fact that everything is open 24/7. I definitely miss how close by everything is. One thing I've noticed about living in Dallas is that things are very like spread out. So almost everything is like a 15 to 20 minute drive away. And then I have a lot of friends that still live in Las Vegas, so I obviously miss them as well. Do flight attendants who are based in a city with a higher cost of living get paid more? No, I wish. That would have been awesome, but no. It is a set pay and you get a raise once a year, and then after 13 years you reach the max pay. So it's basically set in stone whether you live in an expensive area or not. Do you get air legs similar to sea legs from being on a ship? Yeah, sometimes honestly when I get off a plane I feel like I have vertigo. I feel like I'm kind of dizzy and my legs are definitely kind of wobbly. But sometimes I think that's just from like pushing the cart, because the cart is 200 pounds. So I definitely get my leg workout in while I'm doing that. What's your worst passenger story? I want to keep my channel really positive and I love my job, but obviously there are difficult passengers. As in any service industry job, like you're gonna have difficult customers, so sometimes that can happen. In terms of being a flight attendant, I've seen everything. I've been yelled at, I've been cussed at. I have seen people going on their honeymoons together. I've seen people like super happy because they're celebrating, their 30-year anniversary. I have seen grieving parents, which breaks my heart. I've seen people on their way to funerals. As a flight attendant, you truly see it all. So I guess just be really nice to us and understand that like we're all human, and I try to remember that my passengers are human, and you know, we should always have empathy towards each other because we truly never know what the other person is going through. What do you think you'll be doing in 5 years, and what do you want to do after being a flight attendant? I'm gonna fly till I die. I love being a flight attendant. I honestly do not picture myself doing anything else. Any plans on where you want to go for your next vacation? I would love to do an Alaskan cruise. The Alaska cruises are pretty expensive though, so that is definitely something I want to do, but I'm gonna have to save up for. This month I'm going to Orlando for a vacation with my sister, so I'm really excited about that. After going on a cruise, did you have a feeling of wanting to work on a cruise ship instead of a plane? No, absolutely not. Are you ever required to share a hotel room with your fellow coworkers on layovers? No, thank goodness. That is like one of the biggest perks of this job, is that after a long day, you have that room and you can just have like your privacy and your space, and you don't have to share that with anyone else. Do you stay with the same aircraft during your travels? No, a lot of times we do switch aircraft types, but we always stay with the same amount of crew members. So if a trip starts with 3 crew members, then it will always have 3 crew members. If you start with 4, it will always have 4. So you can't start a trip working a plane that requires 4 flight attendants and then switch to a plane that requires 5 or 6. How do you and your boyfriend cope with being apart all the time? FaceTime. FaceTime is huge for us. We FaceTime every day. Every time I have days off, I am always flying to Colorado to see him, and we just text throughout the day and talk. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like long distance has been really difficult. It's not fun, but we just do our best to make it work. What is your least favorite part of the plane to work on? Honestly, I have no idea. Like, I don't have a least favorite part of the plane to work on. I love being up front and I love working the galley in the back, so I would say those are probably my 2 favorites. Have you ever met anyone famous on any of the flights that you've worked? Yes. So I was working a flight to Kingston, Jamaica, and I actually met Usain Bolt. And then I cannot remember his name, but I met someone from Duck Dynasty. I'll try to remember who that was. Recently I had a retired Dallas Cowboy football player on one of my flights, and I'll put his name here too because I can't remember what it was. I also wanted to let you guys know that I'm going to start writing articles for a website called CaptainJetson.com, and there will be an article that coincides with this YouTube video, so I will put the link to that in the description box below. And I guess the last question I'm going to answer is, what is your favorite dog breed? And my favorite dog breed is Golden Retriever, just like little Luna. First say hi, Luna. So those are pretty much all of the questions that I was asked. If you guys do have any more questions, please put them in the comment section below and I will do my best to answer all of them. But thank you everyone so much for watching this video and for supporting my channel. It really does mean the world to me. If you liked this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you never miss any of my travel tips and adventures. I will see you guys next time. Bye.